What's going on? We are back here in the OT Radio Show, and we got a very good show for y'all today. Today, I got Pennsylvania own instruments vocalist Mr. Erich Cawalla will be joining your boy here on his show. Now, let me tell y'all something, man. Y'all seen him on the Food Network. Y'all seen him on Late Night with David Letterman. Y'all seen him on CBS, and y'all actually seen him at the Phillies game too. And not only that, you can hear some of his songs on, y'all know, that Music Choice Smooth Jazz channel. And we got him here to talk about his songs, talk about his album that already came out in March of 2022. And we're going to get into it, see how he start. But before we get into our guest, we have to talk about the scholarship program we do have for kids. Yes, we have a scholarship program for all high school seniors who are studying into the medical field. Hey, scholarship for y'all. Make sure you go ahead and check out board.org, Scholarship for E3 Sanborn Scholarship, where you can apply. So I would tell all parents, have your child apply for it. If she is studying in the medical field, all she got to have is a 2.5 GPA, and the scholarship is good for any community college, trade school, and regular college. You just got to be a high school student that's studying in the medical field. And for all my people who would love to donate, it is tax deductible. Yes, it is tax deductible. We hooked up with board.org. Hey, look at that scholarship right there. Y'all see it? And whatever you put in, you get to write it off on your taxes. There you go, y'all. What not else to have something that you can write off? Because I know a lot of y'all companies out there want to write off some stuff. But here's your chance to write it off and give back at the same time. So make sure you check out board.org, Scholarship for E3 Sanborn for any high school seniors with a 2.5 GPA that's studying into the medical field. Now, I just got that all out the way. Deep breath on that one. And now let's get ready. It is showtime, showtime. And when I tell you showtime, we have Pennsylvania own. Yes, he is here, ready to have conversation with your boy OT. I am ready to have conversation with him. Our producer said, he is ready, OT. He said he's ready, and I see him ready. And bring him in, y'all, so we can have conversation.
OT.
What's happening with you? How you feeling, man?
Hey,
I got you.
Some of those things weren't quite right with the David Letterman. I performed with the bass player from the David Letterman show. But I guess that you forgot to put Philadelphia sports fan in there too.
Oh! Listen! If you at a Phillies game, you gotta be a sports fan. You gotta be a Philadelphia sports fan. And you in Pennsylvania, so you gotta be a Philadelphia sports fan.
It's either Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. The state is divided, and it's either Philadelphia or Pittsburgh.
Yes, but I would tell you, Philadelphia is the best. Philadelphia Eagles is the best. And you up there in Reading, so you gotta be like Philadelphia Eagles, man.
Yeah, we're an hour from Philly.
You can't do that. Yeah. So let's talk a bit, man, because you have back and you've been doing it for a while. So tell our listeners and people that are following us and people that are following, how did you get started? And what was the going into being an instrumentalist? Because you're doing multiple things.
Well, I appreciate that. I sing and I play and I teach and I own a studio and I also am a booking agent. I own a booking agency. You see this hair or lack of hair, you can tell that I'm in the music business because it's a stressful business, no doubt. But you do what you do every day because you love it. I have an accounting degree. See that? Don't be jealous. I wish I had your hair, though. You have good hair. But I do have an accounting degree, too. And I did that for 2 years while I performed, and I hated it. And I started playing sax when I was 14 in my local marching band here in Chilton, Pennsylvania. And it just sort of came easy to me. And I always sang. And my thing is I love to sing and play and entertain and sing and play and entertain. And that's what I've been doing for about 24 years. So it's been a long time coming.
Wow, man. Dude,
Yeah.
that right there is amazing, man. Because I mean, hold up. How did you go from an accountant degree and to be doing accounting to now this? Like, we got to know the backstory on this one. How did that come about?
That's a good question. That's a good question. When I was in high school, I had started picking the saxophone up late. And when I picked the saxophone up, like I said, I loved it and it came naturally to me. And I always sang. So all throughout high school, I was in all of the, the Berks County Jazz Fest stuff is here in Reading, Pennsylvania too. So I was in all the high school programs and all of the audition things. You could audition for a jazz band, a concert choir, you name it. And then one day I graduated, and my parents before that said, "We're not going to help you pay for college unless you get a degree so you have something to fall back on, and music isn't it." So I went to school at Shippensburg University of Pennsylvania, and I got an accounting degree. And when I was a sophomore in college, I hadn't picked my saxophone up at all, but a gentleman by the name of Bobby Mercer called me and invited me to his show. And he had a touring show band that, we played like Hershey Park and Myrtle Beach and all types of places. And I said yes to him. And while all these other kids were working at the dining hall and Chick-fil-A and all these other jobs during college, I was performing on the side. And I got my degree. I did it for 2 years. And in fact, I played a wedding the night that I graduated and did that for 2 years and didn't love, going back and forth to King of Prussia every day. And here I am, 20 years later. Yeah, man.
Well, tell your parents, see, it told you you can make money off of being off of the entertainment business.
and you know what? The thing about it is too is the entertainment business. There's so many different facets of it. So it's like doors open as you continue doing this. And then I bought a gentleman's booking agency, so I book a lot of other acts, national acts, everybody in between, local acts. And I just bought a recording studio with 3 rental properties. I teach on the side. I think you got to do it all. And that's what's important, because when one thing's down, during the pandemic, I was shopping on shift. So you just got to keep going. Yep. Now I'm getting the light a little better. There we go. The light's a little better now. Now I don't look as bold.
Yeah. Well, y'all, let's talk about now. What was the feeling at your first big performance? How did you feel about that when you first said, "Okay, I'm doing it now"? All of a sudden, boom, you got a big performance.
Do you know what's
Tell
funny?
our people. Yeah.
The first performance that I ever did when I played in front of 10,000 people, the bigger show that I did was for an Amway convention with Bobby Mercer down in Charlotte, North Carolina at the old Independence Arena. And man, I don't know what I was doing. I was only in the business about 6 months and I was scared as can be. I'll never forget, Jerry Falwell was the guest speaker on it. And, you just got to sponge everything you see. One thing I've tried to do over the years, I love that, whether it's watching Smokey Robinson and listening to what he does, whether it's listening to, Dave Brubeck play the saxophone or Grover Washington or whatever. It's important to sponge things off of everything you see and then try and make your own performance your own. And that's what I've tried to do. And but that was my first performance. And to say that I was nervous was probably an understatement. My first big show. How about you with your big show? I've got going on here too. It's it's a lot different thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, man. It's totally different. I'll tell you what, man. I still get nervous to this day.
Me too.
Still get nervous to this day, man.
Yep,
so
me too.
Let's talk about your first solo jazz album.
Yep.
222 South. Let's talk about that right there.
Well, 222 South was my first single that I wrote, and that was released as a digital single, and it did well on Smooth Jazz. I think it got number 41 on the Groove Jazz, that one got on the Smooth Jazz Network. That one did well, and it actually was just a song that I wrote about cruising up my highway here in Reading, Pennsylvania, called 222 South. Because 222 South is, I'm on it almost every day, and I thought, wow, that seems like a good way to name a song, So that was released, that's got to be 5-6 years ago. It just goes so fast, especially with the pandemic. And I always wanted to release a big band album with strings, like a Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, all that type of stuff. And I did that actually in March of this year, and then it was nationally released. It was released at the Berks Jazz Fest with a 30-piece band, and we had 700 people in my high school auditorium, so it really was like going back home to Governor Mifflin High School. But then we released it nationally in May, and so far it's done very well on radio stations throughout the world. I think it's still 156 or something on Jazz Week and the Jazz Week chart, so we're trying to break the top 100 with that. But Frank Sinatra, and it was supposed to be, it really took about 5 or 6 years to do. Because of the pandemic, we released 2 years ago, and then this thing called COVID-19 came along, and I had been sitting on it patiently for about a year and a half, 2 years, and it was what a feeling, though. What a feeling to finally be able to do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And you know what? That dives right into one of the questions that I got to ask you, because during the pandemic, how did the pandemic affect you? Or did it affect you? Or did it, did it escalate you to do more things far as in the music business?
The pandemic, I'll never forget, because I play a lot of shows. I have a cover band here in town too. And I'll never forget, 2 days before, I literally must have lost a third of my shows. And then they all, for a month, 2-3 months, didn't get to perform at all. And then the first show that I did back was a wedding here at the legendary Sunnybrook Ballroom in Pottstown, and that first year was tough. I got so bored. I still taught, and I was teaching online on Zoom, and that was a different experience. But life is all about reinvention, and I think you would agree with that as well. I reinvented myself and just tried to make the investments into the future, because we all knew at some point we hopefully were going to be normal human beings again, as normal as we can be on this planet. And I literally was doing grocery store deliveries unshipped, SHIPT, because it gave me a sense of direction again. Because, you get up and it was depressing to just work for something so much your whole life, and then bam, just everything be done in an instant. And just amazing that thank goodness we're coming out of this now, and that this has been a record year for both my agency and my performances. And last year was another record year for my agency. Just got to keep going. OT in high demand there, baby. OT.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because you are in high demand.
Hey,
you are definitely in high demand.
And crossing those T's.
I like that. I like that. So
you should say that. That could be your spin in the O's.
yeah, stringing the O's and crossing those T's, man. I like that. Yep. I like that. I like that. I like that. You know what, man? I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that. Good. The producer's going to write it down for me. I'm going to use that. I'm going to say, appreciate you. So let's talk about a little bit of touring. So, because you've been touring a little bit.
Yeah.
How was that feeling?
Well,
coming back off of COVID?
Oh, my gosh. The first time that you play, when you know how this is, life can get, no matter what you do in life, it can get a monotony to it. And I got to tell you that, whether it's back problems or whether it's headaches from the saxophone pulling or whether it's playing, brick house too many times or whatever it is in life, you get a monotony to it. And I'll never forget that first time back, I thought to myself, I am never going to feel that way again, because yes, you're going to get tired and but we all seem to take things for granted sometimes as human beings. And I have, through this whole predicament that we've lived through here, I've learned not to take performing and being able to make people happy for granted again. I'll still get tired and I'll still want 3 hours of sleep. Maybe have to go somewhere that you don't want to go or whatever, or drive 6 hours. But at the end of the day, isn't it so nice to be able to do that and have that purpose and make people happy and play your music than what we had 2 years ago, where, I didn't even want to get out of bed. I was that depressed, because it's just amazing how everything you work for can just be just like that. So.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the breathing techniques, man, because I know when you play the saxophone, you got to have some good breathing techniques, man. And you were gone for a minute, so, let's talk about that, because a lot of people really don't talk about the breathing techniques. How was it far as the breathing techniques, man? Because I be hearing y'all play this stuff, and I'm like, yo, they are playing it, and they are long-winded. Like, playing it.
You know,
So
it's almost like a song. It's almost like a song. Let's talk about breathing techniques. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about breathing techniques. That's a good question because I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of acidity, acid, asthma type issues. And I just did a studio session down in Westchester, PA today. And it's difficult for me as a saxophonist compared to a lot of other people that have never had those issues. And there are points, especially when I'm feeling it and I'm playing that saxophone up in the high register and just going back and forth, you know, blah, 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 that I do sometimes forget to breathe because you're feeling it. When I'm just playing normal melodies, I think I do have an advantage over just some other instrumentalists in that as a singer, I've learned to phrase long before to sing than when I played. So when I sing, I obviously try and breathe correctly because you don't want to sing, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little, I mean, maybe you do, I don't know, but technically you wouldn't do that, you know. So at the end of the day, that's what I try to apply to my playing. But even right now with the weather changing and so forth and allergies and, you know, I haven't been feeling quite my best. And I actually had some breathing issues today at the studio session. So you just have to force your way through it. But you're right. I mean, you gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta just keep huffing and puffing.
Right.
I mean, just like you, when you're talking, how many times when you're talking and you get excited, I know how it is for me. If I talk, sometimes I gotta wait a minute, Eric, you gotta breathe.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. That is definitely true about that. You hit the nail on the coffin with that one. You definitely did the nail on the coffin with that one. It's
We're the head or the coffin.
Yeah, hey. So now, you know, you're touring, the album is out right now. Where can people find you at? Like, tell them where to go, and are you going to be touring just in the, you know, the metro area? Are you going to be touring on the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, South?
Well, you know, right now we're still waiting to see what the radio and what's going to really transpire out of all this. But the best place to find where my dates are with my my performing schedule is erichcawalla.com, and you can see it there, spelled ErichCawalla.com. Mostly the Northeast right now, doing like quartet stuff. We have the inaugural Montgomery County Jazz Festival coming up here shortly, and I have 2 shows with that in the All-Star Big Band, and then with my own quartet for that, and that's right outside of Philadelphia, in Norristown and surrounding spots. And I'm always playing at the Berks Jazz Fest, the Reading Blues Fest. I do a lot here in the Reading, Pennsylvania area. They can check me out on Facebook, Erich Cawalla Music on Facebook as well. And as this continues, I think the niche that I really want to get into more and more and more is theater shows. And what I'm doing is, because I love, it's like a triangle, what I like to do. I love to sing, I love to play, and I love to entertain. And if you think of the Vegas thing, like Wayne Newton and Frank Sinatra, Louis Prima, you know, all those types of guys, break that barrier down with the audience and try and make sure that they're part of the show. And that's what I try and do at a show, whether it's songs they know, whether it's an original song of mine or so forth. But for now, it's mostly based in the Northeast. But our plan is in the next year or two to put another CD out about 2 years from now, maybe a Christmas release with a single next year, and then in 2 years put out another you know, Great American Songbook type album of those songs that are just wonderful songs that everybody knows, you know, whether it's Ooh Baby Baby or if it's Misty or if it's, you know, Temptation stuff or whatever, just different takes on songs that people know, maybe thrown in with an original or 2, and just hopefully touring the country and eventually the world.
Well, listen, you know what? I can't leave without asking you this question because you said that you teach it.
Yep.
Let's talk about that a little bit, man, because you don't find a lot of musicians actually teaching.
Yep.
Especially with the young kids.
Well, and
how did that come about?
Well, it's funny that you say that. In about 10 minutes, maybe he'll stumble in here while he's coming at 5:45. And I think it's, for me, now I'm 43, so I'm out of high school 25 years. I think private lessons are so important. And about 15 years ago, a lot of the school districts, that's what I'm trying to say. If you remember, and Mariah Carey was big on this too, they were trying to pull music out of the schools because they say it's not necessary and it's not, you know, we all know that that's not true. Art is definitely necessary. If history is necessary, I definitely think art is necessary as well. And I always thought anything that I can do, obviously it's a good way to make extra money, but teaching, I don't have a degree in teaching, but it always came easy to me. Being able to show others what to do on the instrument and just show them how I learned how to play the instrument. And what I do here in town, I teach privately in my studio here. And I also have a recording studio called Spiro's Modern Music by Erich Cawalla that I bought about 6 months ago. And I have 5 teaching studios over there. So we have a couple teachers working for us. I think private lessons, when you have that one-on-one instruction, nothing is better than that. The schools are great with what they do as far as getting kids to play an instrument and to sing or whatnot. But, you need to give back and show these kids what you've learned. Because someday, just like I was when I was 19, 25, 30, 15, and whatever, you just got to keep passing that along. And I think that's very important no matter what you do, even with what you do. I'm sure you have a lot of kids. They want to know what you're doing and how you do it. You're not just getting on there on a microphone and doing what you do. There's so much that goes into it behind the scenes.
Bro, some of them had the slightest idea what goes on behind the scene. They just think you just pick up the microphone and get to talking, but they don't know about the other equipment. You got to make sure tones is right. Make sure you don't have echoes. Make sure you pay your bills. You know what I mean? Your electric bills and then that bill.
That's the accounting degree, and you got to look sexy too, OT. Gotta look sexy.
Well, man, I gotta say that I commend you for definitely giving back, man, because a lot of musicians I know, you don't hear them say, oh yeah, you know what I mean, I still do mentoring and stuff like that. And the fact that you have a recording studio, the fact that you have, your regular studio that you're in now, they can learn so much.
Oh,
and a lot of times, a lot of kids never ever even got into a studio before just to learn. You know what I mean?
Because you're right. I mean, just to see it and like this studio session I did today, you almost have to turn on because it's reading charts. You almost have to turn your brain on from like you and I just talking to each other. But when you see charts that have been specifically made for alto saxophone and you have to read them across over 10 pages, you have to put your mind in another spot than where you're at. And then basically when we're just talking to each other here, it's like turning on and off a switch. It's just like that whether you get on stage.
I wanted to ask you that too, because when you look at what you're about to do, you know what I mean, because they got the little lines and stuff like that. How do you know, and what did you see that says, okay, it's your turn to jump in? Because I'm going to tell you, when I'm reading them notes, I'll be like, okay, but where the bass player supposed to come in at?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you have an arrangement, and for example, my arranger, God bless his soul, Dave DePalma, was one of my teachers, but he's on saxophone. He passed away before we were able to officially release the CD. And I actually commissioned him, if you want to call it that, to write arrangements of these old songs. Like, let's take Smokey Robinson's Ooh Baby Baby, for example. Ooh, baby, baby. So it starts, the whole thing, the lush strings, all that stuff. And then let's say the string section is out, the sax section is out. What is notated on the sheet is if you have 8 measures out in 4/4 time, that means you're going to be 32 beats out. So you have to count 32 beats until you know to come in. And that's how you read music. Yep. So what they'll do is they'll put, say, 32, and you know that that's your rest. Sometimes you just have a 1 measure rest. Sometimes you can rest almost a whole song and play just at the end. It just depends on what the arranger is calling for in that song. So that is basically, in a nutshell, in a crash course on how to read music. And then each one going up your lines, you have E, G, B, D, F. And then you have to memorize those. And just like anything, the more and more and more that you do something and read it, you'll know how to read it. But I still have some areas that sometimes where I have to say, all right, you got to concentrate. You just have to keep looking ahead. Have you ever played pool, OT? Billiards?
Yes.
The same type of thing. You always look ahead because you got to put a little English on the left or the right or up or down so that you know where that you're going to get it to stop so that you have a shot next. I tell my kids that you always have to try and look ahead a beat or two so you know what's coming. But it does take a lot of repetition for reading. And I notice if I don't read for 3 or 4 weeks, I have to get back into it because it's not like reading a book.
Wow. I'm glad you said that, man, because I guarantee a lot of kids would be like, I want to learn it. You know what I mean? And you got to be reading it. You got to be studying it because it's something totally different.
Well, and the thing is, too, I know so many musicians that don't read, and it's a shame. They can be the greatest musicians in the world, but if they don't read, I think anything you do in life, you need to try and maximize the potential out of anything that you can do. And when you can read, now you're maxing out the amount of shows you can do. If somebody wants you to do a studio session and all they have is a chart, and you can read it. And, if you have somebody comes to town that they need 4 sax players, a trumpet player, you get the call because you can come in and read the charts. That's what it's about, in my opinion, is trying to be the best musician that you can be, whether it's ear training, whether it's reading, whatever it is. It's just so important to be able to do the reading part of it, too.
Well, Joe, man, you just gave me a little bit of knowledge, man, that I never knew. I used to be like, okay.
Power. Hey, Tower of Power said a little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Yes, indeed. Because I tell you, man, every time we looking at them, man, I'm like, okay, well, they got the thing in their ear, and the man probably telling them time to go in. You know what I mean? But it's something totally different.
Yeah, and you're talking a totally different level there. That when you get to that spot, you're right. I mean, there's things I see. I mean, and so much of what you see on TV now, if you see a quote live performance, is not a live performance. Maybe they're dancing up there, but they're lip syncing and, everything's on track, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I still think there's something to be said about the art of creating in the moment. And so much of what you see on TV is not like that because so much of it needs to be artificial these days.
Yep. Well, listen, man, I'm glad. I am glad that we actually had this conversation, man, because you're bringing light to a lot of things that I think kids need to listen to, adults need to listen to, and thank you because you just taught me something.
Well, so OT, we just tell the audience though, we just lip sync this entire presentation, right?
I guarantee you, man. If we put that out on Twitter, I guarantee you, man, people be like, yo, they really did that. The power can check.
Hey, do me a favor when we're done, though. I want you to send me that scholarship information. I'll make a donation to the scholarship.
Oh, most definitely. I appreciate it, man.
Because you know me with that. It's not one thing about helping people, too. That's one thing about it, but it's also about the tax deductible. The government gives you up to $300 of tax deductions in a year now. See?
Wow.
I've done numerous taxes over the years, and this was a change in the last couple of years once they stopped doing the itemized deductions were too much. So now you get up to $300. So spend those $300. It helps a lot of other people.
Yep. See? Yep. Hey, y'all. I just had the accountant tell y'all something new.
That's from the musician's accountant.
Now, I got to say this, man. You being an accountant and a musician, no one can get over on you. You know the whole shebang. Like, hold on, wait a minute. No. Put that in that tax bracket.
Hey, OT, you see this? This is my receipts that's just my receipts for me performing this year. And
wow.
These are my receipts for my production company. Mm-hmm. And then I have another envelope with my receipts with my studio. And because it's gotta be legit. You gotta do everything. You gotta do these things legitimately. And I try and tell people too, make sure that you claim the money on your taxes because when you're older, you're gonna want Social Security too. I mean, this is something else that we can make for kids.
Interesting.
Gotta do your taxes. You gotta do your taxes.
Yes, indeed. So all y'all folks out there that's holding on for, 3-4 years, y'all better go ahead and get them taxes done.
Do your taxes. You're going to end up in jail like Al Capone. That's how they got Al Capone on tax evasion.
Yep. So, well, Joe, man, I definitely appreciate you so much, man. Hopefully, I can see you at a Phillies game. You know what I mean? So you got to definitely let me know when you're going to be at
where
a
are you
Phillies
from?
game.
Where are you from?
I'm from Philly, too.
Oh, my God, this is great. I'm sure we know a lot of the same peeps then.
Probably so.
Yeah, we won't mention them online because we don't want to get in trouble. I actually, but the studio session I just did today, I played with John Legend's sax player.
Wow.
That was pretty cool. Corey, yeah.
See, amazing.
That's the thing. I always try and say this too. You can say you never know where your paths are going to cross with other people. That one day you can be playing in front of 10 people, and the next day you can be playing with who knows, John Legend's sax player. You just never know. That's what's so cool about the music business. There's so much intertwines, and it really is a small business.
Yep, I try to tell people that, but people don't believe it.
Yep.
It's very small, because I guarantee you somebody that you played with or somebody that you came across.
Hey, the student is here.
Hey, look at the student. He is here. He is here live on the OT radio show. Hey,
this is OT. This is Addie right here. Adisha.
What's up, Addie? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, Addie, we got you live right now. Now you're going to have to play something for us. You're going to have to play something for us.
Come on, Addie.
Play something for us.
Oh, here he goes. The excuses. I didn't even put my reed on yet. Now, what's cool about the Berks? Have you heard of the Berks Jazz Fest OT?
No, I haven't.
Well, you got to check it out up here in Reading. All the big stars like Mesa play here, and Patty Austin, and Gerald Beasley always comes up, and a lot of the Gerald Albright. But anyway, make a long story short, Berks Jazz Fest has a wonderful educational experience for all the kids during the jazz festival. And Addie actually is one of the kids that benefits from that with my friend Mike Eben. They get together, they do jam sessions, they have professionals come in so that they can play with the professionals. It's really a neat thing. And that's how I met Addie actually, through my friend who was teaching him. And now I get the good fortune of teaching him. All right, play him a G. Look, he's all nervous now. John, just close your eyes and relax.
Yep.
All right, hit it. Perfect.
There it is.
Play with blues. Come on.
All right. I appreciate it. Hey, listen, man.
Here, if you're a Philly fan.
Fly, eagles, fly to the world of victory. EAGLES, Eagles. Oh man, see. Oh man, you done got me hyped. Yes, sir.
And you got it on the clarinet instead of the sax too.
See? Oh wow. Well, listen, I appreciate you so much, man. Welcome to the family, as we call it. Listen, you can always come back and talk to us and holler at us, man. I appreciate you, man. Hey, I hear you in the background. Keep on doing your thing, man. Keep on doing your thing. We appreciate you. I know. Good hair. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you so much. Before you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you at on social media and on websites.
Social media is just my name, Erich Cawalla Music, ERICH CAWALLA Music. What's funny is, OT, I'm actually reading it here, like I don't know how to spell it. And then it's also erichcawalla.com, ERICHCAWALLA.com. I'm on YouTube, Amazon, Spotify. Stream Erich Cawalla, The Great American Songbook, and hopefully buy the album and come out to a show.
There it is. There it is. Well, listen, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, young man in the background, we appreciate you. And have fun, man.
You got it.
See you later.
Okay,
all right, man. Appreciate you.
Yep. See you next time.
Oh man, y'all, good show today, y'all. We loved it. We love it, man. We definitely love it. Man, Erich joining us here on the show, man. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and check out his album. Make sure y'all go ahead and check out his website. He's doing big things. And when I tell y'all, we just had a good time. He got OT hype. He got me hyped for football on Sunday. We got me hyped for football on Sunday, y'all. Man, football season have started. But y'all make sure y'all go ahead and check him out, Erich Cawalla. Check him out. Make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe, like, follow. That's all we asking. That's all we asking for y'all to do. Because hey, he's part of the family, so y'all better go ahead and go ahead and subscribe. Hey, listen, man, I appreciate y'all. And we got some big things coming next week. Oh, we got some real big things coming next week. And OT is taking over the Speak On It show on the 27th. I am taking over RW show. Wow. Speak On It. I'm taking over it, y'all, for one day only. OT will be taking on the Speak On It show where I will be the host. And we're going to have multiple guests like him. Yes, he's joining us here on the show. On his own show, I will be interviewing him because, hey, he's been in the game for years, and now we're going to interview him because he needed, y'all. We love him. We appreciate him. He is one of our brothers, and y'all make sure y'all go ahead and check him out on the Speak On the Show on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, let your voice be heard. We always say, let your voice be heard. And we always leave as family. And that's our motto. You always leave as family, no matter what. You are definitely family. Make sure you check out my man DJ Wiz. Yes, on Sundays. Woo! He bringing it, y'all. He bringing it. Christian hip hop. He bringing it. Got it on radio station. If you got Alexa, go to Wiz. Wiz Radio. That's all you gotta say. His stuff will pop up. Hey, I love y'all. Y'all be good. Make sure you go ahead and follow us on all social media platforms. OT Radio Show. And make sure, like I tell y'all, we still got that scholarship up and running. Deadline is December 15th. We will be making the announcement of the winners for our scholarship. We connected with .org to set up the scholarship for all high school seniors who are studying to the medical field. Make sure you go ahead and fill out that application. And hey, hopefully you are the one that get picked for the scholarship. Right now, we have about 61 applicants. Yes, 61 applicants, y'all, who are helping for us in the medical field. And guess what? We're going to be having some lucky winners. Our goal is to help out 10 students. So we are going to reach that goal. Deadline, December 15th, and we will be announcing it on January the 15th, I think. Yes, January 15th, we'll be announcing it. And I won't be announcing it live on air. So, hey, I love y'all. Y'all be good. Make sure you go to board.org. Scholarship is the intangible. You can see it right there at the bottom. Subscribe. Tell your peoples. All the people's watching, people not watching, people watching the replay. Hey, if you got any family member, a senior with a 2.5 grade point average that is going to school for the medical field, it could be a technical school, it could be a 2-year college, and it could be regular college. That's how our scholarship runs. Sign up if you're willing to donate, and it is tax deductible. Go to board.org, scholarship intangible, and donate. And it's tax deductible. You'll be getting a tax deductible off of that. I love y'all. Y'all be good. Thank you for watching, and we will see y'all next week. Same time, same place, here with your boy OT. Peace, y'all.